So for us, MAAPS was what I call the right tool at the right time. And by right tool, I don't mean red cap or actually even proactive advising. I mean, it was an intervention from outside by way of the UIA through Tim's leadership to have this sort of national study that we could be part of. So the project of being in MAAPS was for us the right tool at the right time. We'd already started some movement towards transforming our institution, redesigning our institution for student success. But what MAAPS did was sort of help us put like a spin on a body already in motion. It kind of helped us spin it in the right direction. So it was the right tool at the right time to move towards organizational change. Our context, MAAPS was supplemental to our major advising. We're, like many UIA schools, super decentralized. And in addition to that, there was like no incentive built into the system for collaboration. In fact, there were generously long-running turf wars across departments, and we advise better than you do, and blah, blah, blah. And then we had many advisors with multiple formal roles. They were doing alumni relations. They were doing fundraising in their colleges. So many of our advisors report to department chairs, not even college level. So you can imagine that it was a bit of the Wild West of advising. Also, there's substantial resistance to actually providing four-year plans. Like, oh my gosh, central admin wants to control us. Are they centralizing advising? Was one concern. Oh my gosh, students might quote unquote self-advise. They might actually figure out what they wanted to take without talking to us. And then there was this delightful worry that like, yes, but then when we print the PDFs, there'll be out-of-date copies floating around. All right. So, or they'll be on the pink color instead of the purple color, and the new ones are green. And these were the kinds of things we were facing when we talked about advising. Four-year degree plans. So we were able to use the MAAPS project as a, frankly, very blunt lever to pry them out of departments. We had not been able to get them to commit to them or to share them because we don't want students to see our four-year plans. And you can sort of imagine the resistance. We had institutional research do the collecting. So any fear of centralized advising got like displaced onto them. And I apologize, that should say displaced onto IR, not IT. So the fear that, oh my gosh, central is coming for us got a little displaced onto IR. Thank you, Bethan and team, for that. But they were able to sort of do it in a way that was a little less threatening than like the associate provost asking for four-year degree plans. So somehow that really helped us. Again, we were sort of in this trying to transform advising culture. This gave us another tool to help us in that direction. So in the advising culture, we did have a couple of our MAAPS advisors were already on campus as advisors. People knew them. There was some trust. So that became part of building some breadcrumbs of trust in our advising community. Because we were supplemental, the MAAPS advisors were supporting, not replacing major advisors or students with no preference for majors. So again, this helped us sort of build trust and say, like, we could work together. These no-pref advisors aren't trying to do your jobs or take away your jobs. And really part of what happened for us as this tool that made things work in this progress we were doing is that the worst fears among advisors on campus didn't come true. So MAAPS didn't take away their jobs, didn't centralize them, didn't require them, other than coming up with four-year plans, didn't require them to do new things. We were also at the same time implementing the EAB predictive analytics platform. So there was a lot of fear going around, I think as Tim had mentioned earlier about like EAB taking our jobs, basically, which didn't come true. It also really, this kind of MAAPS project gave us a way to talk on campus about the role of advising and student success, and it contributed to other efforts we had ongoing on campus already. So it wasn't a time bomb for us. It didn't sort of explode things and move them, but it really put this spin on what we were already doing in a really helpful way. And to be able to say, we have to do this, people. It's a federal grant. IES is looking at us. We need to do this. So that was really sort of where it came from for us. So this MAAPS thing, being able to say, well, Tim Renick said we have to, has been really important to us as part of being part of the UIA's action and moving several conversations forward on our campus. So aside from all the other things that happened for us with it in terms of some actual maybe results for students, the way we were able to galvanize and catalyze our community around this change and to really help us shed some of the fear of sort of centralized efforts on these things has really helped us. We probably, like our colleagues here, are not going to end up with centralized advising, but the idea that people could collaborate and work across departments and talk about and share four-year plans has been really exciting and invigorating for our campus in ways I might not have predicted the power of that. So that's a really happy and unexpected outcome of our participation in the MAAPS project.